this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah to the east of Mamre, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. The field and the cave in it were conveyed to Abraham for a permanent burial place by the sons of Heth. Hello everyone, welcome to Bible Motivation. Grave, burial place. How can something which is so negative, so painful, be the starting point of God's blessing? How can losing someone, grieving or mourning for someone be the reason to hold on to God for better days? Let's Bible it out. Abraham was a man who sought and believed in the living God, while the rest of the world was lost in creating and worshipping multiple gods made by their own. Seeing his heart, God directed him to go to an unknown land where he was a complete stranger, promising him to give it all, from the northward to the southward, from the eastward to the westward. God commanded him to go to the length and breadth of that land, assuring him that he would give him all of it. Abraham was 75 years old when God called him. And he, without knowing what he has to do, without having any idea of where he was going, he obeyed God and went out of his land and dwelt in Mamre, which was in Hebron, in Canaan. Abraham grew in wealth, in livestock, in resources. He won battles. You can find these in Genesis chapter 11, 12, and 13. Exactly 10 chapters later, when we read Genesis 23, we see that Sarah, the wife of Abraham, died in Hebron. She was 127 years when she died. Though Abraham was in loss and deep grief, he didn't leave God, but he chose to hold on to the God, knowing that he is the same faithful God who had done before what he said and will do what he has promised him. He stood up from mourning and he requested the people of the land for a place to bury Sarah. Though the people were insisting on him to give that land freely to bury his dead, he still requested them to buy it legally from the legal owner of that land in front of all the people of that land. Though Abraham was requesting for a cave in the end of the field of Machpelah, which is there in Hebron, the owner had offered him freely all the field along with the cave, and he offered him freely. However, Abraham requested to buy it legally from the owner of the land, and God made him to buy it by paying the price to the owner in front of everyone gathered in that land, which was according to the formalities held at that time. Abraham didn't only get the cave, but he got the whole field, the cave which is in it, all the trees, and all of the borders of that land. There he buried his wife in Mamre, which was in Hebron, the land in Canaan, the same land which was promised by God. Death of his wife, a situation, a place where no one would ever expect something good to come out of. But the same place was used by God to fulfill and to work out his good purpose in his life. It would have been in any other way that the possession of the land could have been transferred to Abraham, whether it is freely or whether it is through any battle or anything. But the place where Abraham went through sorrow, God turned it out to fulfill his purpose according to his specific strategy, according to his specific plan, and according to his mighty approach. And this was not the fulfillment of the promise of the Lord, which He did to give everything from north to south to east to west to Abraham, but this was just the starting of it. We often see our situation through our own eyes, which leaves us hopeless and overwhelmed. But when we see these situations of ours through God's lens, He walks us through those situations, making us aware of His presence throughout this, making us aware of what His plans and purposes are through these situations, making us aware of His strategies which He has for us, making us known about His mighty ways to transform our lives through these situations. And this is what Jesus did for us. The Messiah was prophesied to come and redeem His people. Many expected that He would do it through war and sit on a throne, but He chose death. He chose the cross, not only for the people then, but for you, for me, for everyone in this world, in this earth, no matter what our background is. His death redeemed us from the bondage of our sin. And He didn't only die, but rose up on the third day. And His resurrection gave us life, life with our Creator, the God forever. This was not the end, but the beginning. Everyone who believes will see the promise fully fulfilled when He will come again. And all those who have died will rise up just as He rose up and will live with our God, the living God, the creator of heaven and earth, forever and ever in the promised kingdom which He has prepared for every one of us who believes. Whatever your grief is today, whether it is loss of job, loss of your source of income, losing someone, injustice, depression, mocking, loneliness. Everyone has left you alone, struggling to identify yourself among others in this world, feeling left with nothing, burdened by the shame and guilt of sin, being lost in this world, seeking temporary pleasures, trying to numb yourself through the things which will only harm you more, anger, frustration, disobedience that is born out of frustration and anger. What is it that is making you to mourn, that is making you to grieve, that is keeping you held in the captivity of sorrow and pain, and not letting you out to live to the fullest in the freedom that you have already been provided with? Hold on. This is what the Lord, your Creator, wants you to know today. He knows your name. He knows you personally. He has engraved you. He has tattooed your image in His palm. He loves you. He loves you so much that He gave His life for specifically you so that you can have life and life abundant. He can turn whatever you are going through to a place of joy and peace that no one can steal away from you. If you want to experience that peace and that joy, if you want to live in that peace and that joy that you have never experienced, though you have tried every possible way to get it, you have to do nothing but just believe. Open your heart today. He is knocking. Let Him in and watch Him turn your grief and everything that you are dealing with alone turn into the things which are more precious than gold and silver. Friends, this is what God has spoken to me through Genesis 11 to 13 and then 23. I would request you to read it yourself and God will speak to you personally. Even if you don't know who God is, I would still request you to go through it and seek God for His personal revelation to you. I will list down all the references from Bible in the description and in the comment for you to go through it personally and ask Him to reveal it to you. Keep praising God.